Hello and welcome back to the SGN YouTube channel. I'm your host Ryan, we're playing Date of the Dead and I'm joined by a very special guest today.
Hi, my name's Katriona. I'm the writer, coder and artist for Date of the Dead.
Hey guys, so I just noticed in the edit that some of the gameplay capture messed up. Now normally I would just ditch this project, but I really liked some of the things Katriona said, so hopefully you enjoy, but yeah, beware, sometimes we'll act like the text has changed and it hasn't. This seems quite interesting. Up on the website I described it as, like, just based on what I saw, I described it as Dream Daddy meets Undertale, which I think...
I saw that, yeah.
I thought,
quite like that.
Yeah, I thought that was an apt way to describe it. You know, like, it's an LGBTQ plus sort of positive dating sim, but it's got, you know, with the being in the underworld, it made me think of Undertale, so I was like, mash the two together and you get this.
Absolutely. It's a good way to market it to people, I suppose.
So what inspired you to make this game?
Well, I've been playing around in Rampy, which is a kind of visual novel dating simulator for a while since I was like a teenager. And then I started studying at DJ CAD, and in I think my second year I went to the degree show, and a guy called Rory Carson, I think, had created a visual novel. And I was like, oh, I can do a visual novel as my final project. And I was like, from then on, I was like, I want to make a game. Doesn't matter how big or small. And yeah, I'd had this idea brewing for a little while of how fun it would be to kind of take a dating sim, which is normally set, you know, like in a university or a classroom or something like that, and set it in, I don't know, set it with monsters and ghouls and the undead and the underworld. And it kind of evolved from there. It was going to be a small project. And then, of course, I overdid it and wrote like way too much. And I don't think my tutors liked it very much, but I kind of didn't care because I was like, this is really getting my blood going. Like, I'm really enjoying working on this. And yeah, the rest is kind of history. I now have it funded and I'm now making the actual game, so. What
would you recommend we click here? Where am I or what's happening?
At this point, honestly, it doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't make a difference. Well, let's go with where am I? We don't know we're in the underworld yet. There is no answer.
It's still so weird watching people play through my game because every time I'm like, oh, I should have written this differently, and oh, I wish I'd changed that, and I'm so like, I can't help but still nitpick at it.
It's
like
your baby. You don't want anyone else to go near it.
No, I'm like, don't look at it.
Now, I really love the art style. It's so, I love that it's like, it's slightly sketchy, which is, I don't know, it just adds to it. Like, it makes it pop compared to like other, you know, it's like dating sims and visual novels you'll see out there, which tend to go with sort of like kawaii, like anime style, which, yeah, it sets it apart, and I think it's really cool. And also, you know, death's here.
So many people want to date a skeleton.
Well, I mean,
and I was surprised.
Yeah, I can't blame them.
I mean, look at him.
Yeah, I mean, just sex on legs right there. I mean, does he have legs? Like, we can't see, you can't see because of the cloak. I mean, what else is under that cloak? That's the real question.
Sex on legs. That's quite good.
I'm not reading this. I'm just leaving the audience to go through this. I'm just enjoying the conversation, if I'm honest. The fate of your soul remains to be seen. Ominous.
Heavy.
So I'm guessing this is kind of the whole idea of, like, throughout the game, as you're dating, you're kind of trying to, you know, determine your fate in the underworld sort of thing.
Yeah. So you're kind of trapped down there for a little while, and you're just trying to get by and maybe, you know, flirt with a few undead cuties on the way there, because that's what a normal person would do.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if they're there, flirt, eh?
Yeah. Definitely starts off a little heavy, but I like to think it kind of perks up.
Yeah, I think that juxtaposition sort of like plays to the game's favor, though. If it gets, yeah, like if it sort of gets a bit more lighthearted later on, I think it hits you harder. Like, you know, okay, like, actually, we mentioned Undertale earlier. It's the same as that. Like, you know, it starts off and you're like, you've got Flowey, who's immediately intimidating, and then Toriel sort of makes everything a bit more lighthearted.
I think I kind of, because going in, although I wanted it to be a little bit lighthearted, I think I still had it in my head that I wanted it to be a horror game in some capacity. I wanted it to feel thematically quite sinister. Because I like horror. I've kind of always... Horror and romance are my two favorite genres, which I don't know what that says about me, but...
Merge the two.
So I like to think I've still kept it fairly spooky-ish without getting too much of a bummer. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah, like I said, like the art style is just really cool. Did you decide to deliberately go with this, or is this just your normal art style that you would draw in normally?
Yeah, I mean, because the kind of version I created, sort of what I think of as like the beta or like a test, was very different in style. It was much less polished because I had so many other, I did it within like 7 months or so, and I had so many other projects on at the same time that I was so rushed. So it's quite scrappy looking. There's not really any shading. It's much more sketchy. And then I kind of took a break after uni just because it was tiring, and I got a job and I did that sort of stuff. And over that time, my style changed quite a bit. I did a lot of practice, and by the time I kind of came back early 2020 to Date the Dead, I quit my full-time job and started doing this. I think my style had just evolved a little differently. That's kind of what I suppose what Date the Dead is seeing now. I'm really surprised how many people have said the style stood out to them, though. It's kind of a pleasant surprise. It's quite what's the word? Flattering, I guess.
I think when I saw it, like when it came across the desk when I was having to report on it, it was just like, oh, like it doesn't look like other dating sims, and I think that's what really helps it. Sorry, I'm dyslexic and I'm really bad at reading and talking at the same time, so I'm
That's
like trying to
okay.
like.
I totally understand. I have actually been meaning to in the because Rampy has some features that help with you can kind of change the text to ones that are maybe easier to read. And change text size, so I'm going to try and fully implement that in the full game so that, I've got friends who are dyslexic. I have some sort of cognitive differences that sometimes make my concentration a little difficult to manage, so I'd like to make it that you can change the font if that's easier, make it bigger, you can make the text flow a little slower, just try and make it that little bit more accessible, so I am hoping I can work that into the full game.
That'd be really cool. Like accessibility options have become a big thing in games, like colorblind modes and like dyslexia friendly modes. It's just it's always really good to see. Like making sure that more people can access more genres is always a good thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we've just found out that we're not actually dead. So we're in the underworld wrongly, I guess, is the best way to describe it.
A little bureaucratic mistake.
Red tape gets everyone. Then who are you? Okay. Right, let's call ourselves SGN to be on brand.
Woohoo!
SGN? He's going, that's not a name. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously? Well, you're not meant to be here till... Oops. Nearly give it away. Oh, well, I mean, apparently the website's got an end date.
An expiry date now.
Oh no, why did I do that? You should have warned me. You're not supposed to be here at all. So can I go? Apparently not. That's
sorry.
funny.
It'd be a really short game if you could just leave.
Just see ya, that's me. It's like in Far Cry 4 where you could just sit around for 5 minutes and complete the game.
Poor Dad. So hard done by.
If he's one guy, he's got an awful lot of work to do, to be fair to him. Like...
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time. There's 7 billion people in the world now. His workload's really increased.
I think he needs to start outsourcing a wee bit.
Yeah.
However many feet you have. And until then, I have somewhere you can stay. Okay, I guess? Or I still have questions?
I don't know, do you? It's up to you.
I mean, there's so many questions, but I feel like the video is going to be long enough as it is. We'll leave you to
the game
answer
kind of
that.
pitches you along, to be honest. Especially in the demo, there's a limited amount of branches you can take for my own sanity.
I mean, fair. Like, I could imagine trying to code a branching narrative is a nightmare.
It comes with its own challenges. You have to remember quite a lot, which I'm not very good at. I'm quite absent-minded, so...
Oh, I'd have notebooks upon notebooks to try and help me, because yeah, I'm the same. Like, just my memory isn't exactly my strong suit.
Yeah, it's so far I've done okay though. I don't think I've forgotten anything terribly important.
I mean, I'm guessing the nightmare is like to finish the game and then someone would be like, "There's a massive plot hole. I chose this," and then that happened.
I'm absolutely terrified of that happening.
I mean, I relate to cry for help. I feel like I've got to do that.
Yeah, same.
Like it's a big old mood, as the kids say nowadays. I'm guessing we're just gonna follow the path.
Sorry, again, kind of pushing you onwards plot-wise.
Like, go quick, run. Yeah, okay. So you can draw a rough path, stumbling over exposed roots. Okay, this way. We're in Purgatory.
Here we are, the main kind of setting of the game, I guess. This is where you do everything, eventually.
Ah, okay, so I'm guessing each character will have their own hangouts, and we're gonna go to each hangout to meet
Yeah.
the character. Okay.
So right now it's only the sort of bar is open, but as the kind of main game expands, you'll be able to go to the park and the library as well, and they have kind of slightly different sections in there. There'll also be the graveyard, which has some of the people who've contributed towards the Kickstarter are going to have their own gravestones and their own kind of little bit of flavor text along with it, which I'm quite looking forward to putting those all together. I thought that would be a nice little way to include some of the backers in the game.
Ah, cool. So hidden depths that you could explore in your own time, or on like second or third playthroughs, depending on how. I mean, 7 playthroughs, I suppose. You can go after everyone.
Yeah, well, I like to think it's a game with like replayability. The idea that you could come back in and maybe do things differently each time.
So that's the intro to Date of the Dead. Just after that clip finished, we met the 7 romanceable characters that live in the town of Purgatory. However, we thought you'd like to do that yourself, so we left a link to the game's demo in the description below. If you'd like to wait until the game comes out before you get your hands on it, but you still want a sneak peek at the characters, then you can head over to scottishgames.net, where I've written an article about each of them. And of course, we want to offer a big thank you to Katriona for taking the time to play through our game with us. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with the channel. Hit the like button, it really helps us out a lot, and leave a comment about what you'd like to see next. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Ryan, this has been the SGN YouTube channel, you've been awesome, and we'll see you next time.